All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us. Molly and Brianna and I did a little bit of July planning, so we'll share that in the Coach Squad group. It's pretty just basically 21-day fix or extreme starting July 11th. And then we thought about doing some kind of a summit showcase, like a glimpse into coaching group that last week of July, Monday through Wednesday, getting all the content and information out there, and then sharing some glimpses of summit while we're there. To kind of end the week and the month strong and get anyone who's interested in coaching throughout the month, especially from our 21-day fix group. I think that's really good timing too. So anyone who's really standing out in our groups, we can say, you would make a great coach, whether you know it or not. Join us for a little bit more information. So, all right. So moving on to personal development. I have really been enjoying the Audible app. So I downloaded it to my phone. I don't know how I racked up credits on Amazon. I think it was over Christmas time when I ordered gifts and it said like free 2-day shipping or 5-day and you get this credit. And I'm like, I don't know what this credit is, but that sounds good. Anything free. And, maybe I didn't need the gift for 5 days. So I ended up with like 5 credits. And I realized later what they were for. So I downloaded Audible, and then I was able to get free books downloaded with those Amazon credits. Do you know what they're called, Molly? You were shaking your head with those Amazon.
They're just calling them Audible credits.
Audible credits, okay.
Yeah, when you look at a book on there, it'll tell you how much it costs or how many credits it is.
Yeah. And so most of the books that I've done are 1 credit, and I'm like, perfect, awesome, that's great. So for me, I learn better when I can listen to it, like while I'm doing my dishes or driving or, on the elliptical if I'm doing some kind of cardio at the gym, because lately with summer I've been going to our local gym and the kids love their camps there. So then I'll listen, and then I buy the book too so that I can underline or highlight in the book so that when I go to share something on Facebook or with the team, I can actually grab those actual words instead of try to remember. So for me, that has been working really well. Do either of you have other strategies with personal development, how to get it all in?
I do the same thing. I've been doing it. I'm in a Million Steps summer challenge.
Oh yeah.
Which means I go on lots of walks when I can. And so I've been listening to them, and but I tend to be like, I learn both ways, both by reading and hearing. And I have been listening to books and reading them. And I get different things out of it both ways.
Uh-huh.
And so it makes it for a slower go, like I'm kind of reading it and then listening to it, or vice versa, but it works out really well for me.
Good. Okay, awesome. I think you have to do what works. We all learn differently, we remember differently, so do what works for sure. And I'm trying to fit in the National Wake Up Call every week too, because those always, even if it's really simple information, they strike something in me that I either, want to share for introducing the next group or just an idea. And I love hearing other coaches' stories and kind of the things that they overcame. Kind of reminds me that I can overcome these things too, that even the top coaches and all the successful ones, like they've gone through big challenges. So, no excuses, right? So tonight I wanted to share something from our mindset group, and the guy that was our speaker last week, his name is J.B. Glossinger, and he wrote a book. I'm trying to remember what it's called. The Sacred Six. And anyway, I think that might be the next thing I read, because I really liked his energy and his information and kind of the things that he shared with us. So he talked about the difference between and the definitions of having a mission, values, and goals. And so your mission is basically why you're here. And we honestly should all have a mission statement. Like you should be able to write down 1 or 2 sentences of what your mission statement is, which is going to help you, kind of shape your posts around and kind of know your audience. So like for me, my mission is to help other struggling moms find their place and be more confident and be healthier and happier. So that's my mission. And that helps me know like what direction am I going in? And if I ever think, why am I only speaking to the women and not the guys or the husbands? Like, do they feel bad? Should I broaden my posts? No, that's not my mission. It's not to help dads. That's, not my category. My mission is women. So that kind of helps me just when I'm trying to narrow things down exactly what my direction is. And then your values are what's important to you. And so we'll talk about values in a minute, kind of making a list of those things. And then your goals are the things that are driving you. And your goals can be constantly changing. So your mission shouldn't change. It might evolve a little bit over time, but it's probably going to stay the same. Your goals, on the other hand, are always going to be changing as you meet those goals, as you set new ones. But those are the driving force behind what you do every day. I know, you're yawning. I'm staring at my cat beyond the table. So our goal, I don't want to say goal because I used that word already, but our objective is to align those 3 things. So we want to align our mission, our values, and our goals together so we're kind of heading in the right direction. I talk a lot about Island A and Island B. Island A is where we came from or where we started or maybe where we are now. And Island B is where we want to end up. If you know what your mission and your values and your goals are, you're always going to be heading in the right direction. Like even if it's slower than we think and there's obstacles along the way, as long as you know what you want, you know where to go, you know what direction to go in. So it's easier to not get discouraged when you have those things set up. So I'm encouraging you to write down your mission. Write down 6 values, or 10, he says. 10 values that he says. So 10 things that are important to you in your life. Narrow those down to 5 or 6. And honestly, I could only find 5. So I know what my 5 or 6 values are already. And then I should be aligning my goals with my values. And so that allows us to really be direct with our, and intentional with how we spend our time so that we can not be aimlessly going throughout our day. And so he also talked about centering our values, and he got kind of ooey gooey. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but he talked about staring at himself in the mirror and like really getting down to that spiritual person that has no age, that's just, it's you, I feel like I do that in other ways. I think we're all kind of spiritual, so we do that more probably through prayer. But if looking in the mirror helps you get in tune at one with yourself, go for it, whatever it takes. But to really just connect with yourself and lose that extra noise. Like I think there's always just the background noise of people who are critical, or even if they're not outwardly critical, we wonder like, what did they think about me? And just eliminate all that, because it doesn't matter, because you know what you want, you know where you want to go. So you got to just listen to those voices, the good voices inside us, and just kind of ignore the other outside influence. And as we listen to those inner thoughts that we have of, you can do this, keep on going, which is why we do personal development, so we have good stuff coming in, kind of allows us to slow down and just focus on what's important and to not get caught up in, all the extra stuff that can be really, really distracting. So then he talked about the early bird challenge, which I posted about in the Superfit group. If you want more information about that, 3 things that he does every morning that he suggested, which I loved. And then the last thing I want to talk about is how he talked about network marketing. And he talked about the difference between us and someone who gets a franchise. I forget what example he used, but let's just say like Subway, for example.
He did do Subway.
Did he say Subway? Okay, that's why it was on my mind. So we invest $140 in our coaching business, and really, I don't even know if you can call it that, because we're actually getting product. I mean, we're getting our workout and we're getting our Shakeology, which we're using for ourselves, but let's just call it $140. And if you were to buy a franchise, which you're going to work the same kind of thing, that's having your own business, just like coaching is having your own business, you're responsible for it. You have a lot of skin in the game. That's over $100,000, right, to start that franchise. Are you going to give up after 3 or 4 months of hardship? No, because you have a lot of skin in the game. And I think also people come into that business knowing they're not going to even break even for years, that it's such a long-term endeavor that they're not going to give up. And we see a lot of coaches on our team give up because they don't have that expectation, or they don't have the skin in the game, or we didn't help them get down to their deep why, or maybe it wasn't our fault at all. That's just how they didn't treat it as a business, as a long-term business. So I try to remind myself that when, you know, I might look at my business and think, okay, 3 years in, I feel like I should be farther along, but am I going to quit and give up everything that I've already created so far? No. And knowing how much more, you know, this business can create for us in the future kind of helps me to keep that skin in the game and to realize that we have a lot coming, and to not compare myself with other people who might be ahead of me right now just because, you know, maybe they need it more than I do or whatever. I just keep going back to, you know, timing is everything. And so, you know, I just kind of have faith that when the timing is right, the timing will be right. And we're going in the right direction. And so I try not to get discouraged with just the little things that, you know, I might every once in a while. And then he also said that your people, so your team, will do 90% of what you do. And I think it might be even less than that, depending on the person and depending on, you know, if they're a discount coach, they're going to be doing like 10% of what we're doing, right? They're going to be doing their workouts. They're going to be focusing on themselves. If they're a working coach going at this as a business, they're going to be doing even less than you are. So as a leader, we need to be setting the bar really high and really doing what's expected so that they're doing as much as, you know, we are. So anyway, I think the last thing then that he talked about was doing personal development, which then sparked my idea to do this week, to talk about personal development and really focus on that. He talked about investing, like make it a priority to invest every month in a new book or every couple of weeks or whatever your standard is. But, you know, I'm kind of slower with reading, so I try to focus on a different book every month and get as much in, you know, as I can out of that book. So anyway, I think that's all I wanted to share. Molly, do you want to share with us what you've been reading and what's stuck out to you?
Sure. Well, how can I follow that? Man, that was good.
Oh gosh. And do you have any other comments about that call that I know you were on too? And Molly was like, you got to get on. It was really good. It was kind of slow, but by the end it was
good, man. I'm waiting until I get to the point where I can I want to invest in his daily program.
Yeah. Did you look it up? Did you look it up or see how much it was or anything?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's $30 a month, which is $1 a day.
That's not bad.
You know, so and it's like a 15-minute call every day.
Oh, and then does he post it in the morning because he's the morning coach or something? So is that what his thing is? Oh,
I don't know if he posts the night before what he does, but yeah, it's supposed to be every morning or whatever.
Oh,
I like him a lot. Like he was cool. I started following him on Facebook too.
Oh, okay.
He posts motivational quotes and stuff. I've shared a few of them in my groups.
Nice.
They're good, you know. So yeah, no, I liked him. I thought it was a great talk. It was motivational. It started off a little slow for me. Hey,
yeah.
You don't need ice right now.
Yeah, I liked it.
So my daughter's really good at the ice machine. Really good.
A little too good.
Yeah. So I'm reading the 10X Rule, which that's the book cover. In my house, covers get destroyed, so I have to leave them up. But that's what this is. And like I said, I'm reading it and listening to it. So it's a little bit more slow going for me, but I find that especially the books where the author reads it. It's really fun. And there's a lot of stuff in the audio version of this book where he's like, what I'm about to say is not in the book, and then he goes off on this like crazy thing, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I'm listening to this because that was really important. But he's like, yeah, the publishers didn't want me to put this part in. And
yeah.
so, it is fun to listen to. But so the 10X rule is, it's a really neat book, and it's not just about business. You can apply it to any part of your life. But I think that for sure, it's been really helpful to me, and it made so to start off, what is the 10X rule? And it's like 10 times, right? So it talks about, there's two parts to it. And one part is to set targets or goals that are 10 times what you actually think you want to achieve. And then to put in 10 times the effort that you think it would take to accomplish those goals. So, I kind of related that to saying okay, well, my goal this month is Success Club 5. Well, if I'm only aiming for 5, I keep missing it, because I'm only working for 5. And so it's like, okay, well, I got 2. I only need 1 more, and there's still, 2 weeks left, so I'm good. But if I'm working for Success Club 10 or beyond, then it's easier to set those goals and to achieve them, because you're not slowing down or stopping or saying, okay, I got here, so I'm good for this month. I'm going to stop messaging or whatever. So I love that this book has been great because I've been able to apply everything that he says to coaching. And he talks about other aspects. He talks about, his marriage and things like that. But what sticks out the most to me is definitely stuff for coaching.
Can I say something real quick too, Molly? I feel like you read this book at the perfect time too, because last month you got Success Club 4. You almost reached your goal of Success Club 5, right? She read the book, set her goals higher for Success Club 10, and she hit Success Club 14.
I know.
That crazy. Shows how that philosophy works perfect, because when we set the bar high, we're going to be working harder. We're going to hit that pretend goal that we had in the first place, double it, exceed it. It's amazing. And it was totally, and it was crazy because as I started reading this, I was like, I can do this. I'm going to try it this month, and I'm going to try and apply it. And I did, and it was crazy. I mean, and some of it too, it's from previous stuff that I've done, and a lot of stuff fell into and came together. Yeah. But when I got those first 3 people signed up and started on their journey, I didn't stop. Right. And put on the brakes and either say I'm done, or whoa, I need to wait for next month, which is always my fear. But yeah, no, it was awesome. And so, anyways, anything else that you wanted to add there, Kirsty, before I keep going? No, that was perfect. I just thought it was such a great example of, adding that into your life and how it really, really changed just 1 month to the next. Yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, just setting, not just setting higher goals, because I think that I was trying to describe the book when I was first starting reading it to a neighbor, and they're like, that sounds awful. Always having that pressure of doing 10 times what you need to do. Right. And I'm like, no, that's not the point. I'm saying it wrong. He says it so eloquently and so well, but the point is just to set high goals. And that way, even if you do miss your goal, you're still above where you need to be. Yeah. Even if I hadn't made, hit Success Club 14, I would have hit 10. Yeah. It's crazy. And then even if I hadn't hit 10, I would have hit 5, which is I want to at least do that every month, which I haven't. So like you said, I had only hit Success Club 5 one other month. So anyways, that was exciting. And one of I went through and I put some tabs on some of the little parts that I wanted to highlight in here.
but he talks about like how like success is your duty. And like, it's your job. It's your duty to be successful, to take care of your family, to use your brain and your mind and your gifts like to their full potential. And I love that. And in this one chapter, it's called Quit Lying to Yourself. And it talks about how like a lot of people say, well, oh, they did good. Like they got lucky, you know, like, oh, like she got this like coach signed up under her. She got lucky. But he says like, there's no such thing as luck. It's not that. And he says, lucky people don't make successful people, but people who are successful become lucky because the success brings the luck. And he says that success always comes as a result of earlier actions, no matter how seemingly insignificant they are or how long ago they were taken. We lose Brianne.
Yeah. Let me see if I can grab her and see what happens.
I'll keep talking while you do that.
Yeah, keep going.
But I like that because it does show that, you know, what you've done in previous months and your work that you've put in, even if it didn't seem to pay off at the time, it did. And, you know, one of the things that also stuck out for me is that he talks about how there's no shortage of success. And success isn't something like diamonds where there's a limited number in the world, you know, and just because one person's successful doesn't mean that you can't be also. And so there's no reason to, you know, if someone else, you know, on your team or somewhere else is having a great month, they're super successful, there's no reason to be jealous or to say like, oh, this isn't just working for me. Like I'm not doing as well as they are. Because you can have the success too. You can both be equally successful. And that actually someone else's success is as beneficial for you as it is for them, because we're all like on this team. So it made me think, you know, if I have a teammate or a coach or someone who's doing really well and bringing all these people like that, in the end just helps me more, either by motivating me or by adding more challengers to our group. So yeah.
Yeah, I loved that too. I thought that was really interesting too when you kept saying, should I be worried about next month? Should I be saving these people for next month? Because I remember having that same worry too, like, oh my gosh, this is better than I've ever done, but now who's going to be there next month? But success reaps more success, you know, and it's that momentum and, you know. So,
well, and I think, you know, with coaching, I think people definitely see that, you know, and they see that you're committed.
Right.
You know, and that you're doing it and this isn't just a passing phase or whatever.
Yeah.
But, and then just one of the last things that I wanted to hit on was, and he talks about like how there are 4 types of people in this world, and how they react to things. And there's the people who do nothing, the people who retreat, the people who, how's he say it, take normal levels of action, who are just kind of average, and the people who take massive action. And, you know, the do nothing kind of is self-explanatory. The retreating is like, say you, you know, set a goal or start a business or something and it's not working out exactly the way you want to, so you retreat from it. You give up and you say, that's not going to work. It was not for me. It didn't work. That's retreating. But then he talked about how the most dangerous level out there is to take normal levels of action. And he said that is probably at least 50% of the population. And those are the people who, you know, just stick with the, you know, what's average, you know, don't think outside the box. Like keep your corporate job. This coaching is not a real job, you know, stay in the security of all of that. And he said those are the most dangerous people because they work so hard to influence everybody else not to do the others and to stay in that average. But then, of course, the whole point is the last one is to take massive action. And that is, you know, using the 10X rule and taking the action. You know, we're going for everything as hard as you can, as fast as you can. And let's see, I have something right here.
I also like how he said,
in this he says,
Oh, I think we have a delay. Sorry. I also like how he said that it takes just as much energy to stay in bed in the morning and like be mindful of I'm not getting up, I'm not going to go do my stuff. Same amount of energy as it does to just get up and do it. You know? And that's a choice.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. He says like, it takes energy to come home and tell your spouse that you didn't get a promotion.
Right.
Because you hadn't been, working hard enough or, hitting your goals at work. And I'm like, that's so true. Like doing nothing doesn't mean nothing. Like that takes action to do too. But for massive action, he said, you're taking massive action. And this made me feel really good. He said, when you're creating new problems.
Yes.
And he said the people who are taking massive action are going to, it said, you'll immediately be judged by the mediocre. And people who operate at the other 3 levels of action will be threatened by your activity level and will often make it seem somehow wrong in order to make themselves feel right. And I've definitely seen some of that. And I think that most people, in a, like a coaching environment like that probably have or will at some point. And I was like, all right, like maybe I'm doing good because I've gotten some of that,
Yeah.
and it makes sense. So there's a lot more in this book, but it's an excellent book for personal development and for coaching and for encouraging you to giving you like the motivation to push harder and work harder and go for that high goals.
Yes. I'm so glad you chose to do that book tonight because I agree. Like there's so many takeaways that I got. It was like every day it was a new like revelation for me and a new mindset change. I also like how he talked about not creating the problems, but coming up with the problems, like figuring out what other people's problems are before they can even admit what it is so that you can help them find the solution and figure out the solution before they, even realize that they have that problem. I think that's why we ask so many questions in the beginning of the conversations, trying to figure out what their whys are, what their goals are, asking those questions, figuring out what their struggles and their problems are, and then coming up with those solutions for them so they can see that they're not stuck in that rut or that's not a problem they have to deal with their whole life, that there really is a lot of ways that we can change our situation if we just think about it differently or invest in something that can help us.
Yeah,
definitely. Life-changing for sure. And I'm happy to have that on Audible because I think I will go back and listen to it often.
Yeah. Did you listen to it or did you read it?
I listened to it, but I bought the book too, and then I mark up the book.
Yeah, that's what I do because I like to go back and find like the specific like one-liners and things. I'm like, oh, that was really good what you just said, and it's hard in Audible to go back and find things.
Yeah.
But it is good. He does a really good job of reading it, and you don't feel like he's just reading it, like he's just talking to you.
Right. Yeah, I liked it. Okay, so for those of you who are on now, and I'm bummed that Brianne somehow got disconnected because I was going to ask her kind of what she was struggling with or what she's reading or what she plans on reading next. So I think I'll post this in the coach group later too, but anyone watching this, you can just kind of write in the comments what kind of mindset shift you need, what your goals are or what you need to kind of get you from island A to island B. If it is a mindset change, because I think a lot of times it is, like our minds are so powerful, more powerful than we even know. Same with our bodies. Like we can do more than we think we can do. And I think that's what personal development does for us. It helps to kind of bridge that gap and help us realize how we can get where we want to be. So 10X rule for sure. I recommend that for anyone, whether you're a brand new coach or I'm a 3-year-old coach and it still brought me so much new insight and information. So maybe that would be a good book for us to all read together, throughout this month and kind of just share our thoughts and, the things that stood out to us. I think that would be good. So, okay, cool. Well, Molly, I'm sure you're ready to go to bed and I got to do the rest of my workout.
I know you look so like nice. I'm like, I look half dead, and you're like so wide awake and
Well,
so.
you're 2 hours later. I'm sure 2 hours from now, I'm going to be super, super sleepy. But I think you look awesome, and thank you
That's
so
sweet.
much for sharing all that. That was really, really good information. It's been amazing, like watching you bloom this month too.
That's been fun. Well, I told you we got big goals this month, so gotta get to work again tomorrow morning.
Yeah, me too. Yay! All right, thanks. Okay, bye, Molly. We'll be in touch, I'm sure.
All right.
Definitely. All right, bye.
Bye.